What's up, people? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's go into this fight here between. This is the Nate Jones story, by the way. Yeah, early bird gets the worm. So let's get into this Hitchins versus George Kambosos. Can Kambosos go back to the well again? Kambosos has been in a lot of wars, a lot of knockout, drag out fights. This was not a good fight for him coming back too, but could he pull off another upset? Let's see.
Will be Hitchins, the champion, the challenger, the former lightweight champion, George, to try and solve this equation. And Sergio in Puerto Rico, Kambosos Jr., who steps up to the chalkboard, so to speak, against Liam Paro. It looked like an incredibly difficult one to solve.
They kept him on the outside with Kambosos. He has quicker feet than Paro was, but Paro was a southpaw, so that right hand of Hitch, and he has a herky-jerky style. If he can land something off by that jab.
I think for Kambosos, these early rounds are going to
over the top from that orthodox stance, and he can
be really important. Hitchins has a bit of a history as against Liam Paro. If Kambosos is going to try to win a decision, he's a slow starter. He lost several of the first round here. He's got to try to bank some of these early rounds.
It's exactly what is the MO of Richardson Hitchins. It's everything behind that. And there's that 1-2. That's a long jab. He has 6 inches in reach. He has 1 in height, and of course that right hand.
Kambosos, of course, trying to make
at least 1 in height, but everything is disciplined behind that jab.
Hitchins undisciplined here tonight, and sort of mirrors what he does in the ring. You think of the trash talk, guys. Kambosos is kind of one of those fighters whose personality outside of the ring, the war, the deception, it's kind of what Kambosos does. He's looking to pester you into making the wrong decisions.
Yeah, he's a front-footed counterpuncher with the art of war is deception. So Kambosos needs to be a little. Hitchins is something big. Right now, it's deceptive right now. Move his upper body and try to lure Kambosos good. He's not staying in front of him too long. So good for the former champion in Kambosos.
I'll tell you what, though, Sergio, I think
he's keeping his range. He's throwing shots to the body. So far,
Kambosos is going to be more physical to win this fight. Yeah, he gets one of his signature punches. Kambosos, he's got a very good over-the-top right hand, just like that. I think he's got to take a page out of the Lemos book and try to make this more physical.
It favors him, but so far, so good. What I'm saying, and look, the thing about Kambosos,
a fight at this range favors Richardson Hitchins.
He doesn't have Lemos power, and Lemos caught that. So far, Kambosos, I think he's utilizing his game plan. He got a big shot in the 8th round later in the fight. A lot of fight left.
The reference told me 10 knock his most recent win over Jake Wiley. It goes on the ledger of George Kambosos. You think back, every fight in certain respects is kind of a little bit of a struggle. Even that one to a certain degree, as Richardson Hitchins for George Kambosos. He has to coordinate and think he wins out. Behind that long right hand, and now back on the side.
It's such a beautiful jab. Just popping it towards jab. Laser jab. He can make it a lot more easier just by snapping that jab and staying in the
here of round 1. Good action to kick things off.
Middle of the ring.
That first round was I think and did what he wanted to do in that situation.
And look out for the right hand. That's all we're trying to do.
So right now, everybody is,
you don't get him out of here, right? You don't get this motherfucker out of here. Real easy. Real easy. Easy one. Easy. Good? Great. Good shit. That's easy work. How you feel? Stay calm, keep your eyes on them, and watch out for the game. Yeah, but let's work. We don't want to pitch in the rounds. And don't stop doing your feints. I'm just working. Yeah,
he's
Hitchins, and I'm talking about setting it up with that jab, popping that jab, controlling the range, controlling the distance, and look, that's the right hand. Never, ever letting go of that jab is how he's going to win this.
In both corners, in between rounds.
Fight.
Round 2 underway. A lot of confidence always is in the Kambosos corner. The messaging, very interesting.
And I think both of them had their moments.
In the Hitchins corner, they're telling him, hey, you're going to get him out of here.
Hitchins obviously landed the better shot from in that. Success closing the distance a lot faster than I thought last round. Kambosos, I can see what he's trying to do, and he's up just like that. See, jabbing upstairs, jabbing downstairs, touching the state and range. That is a good sign for Kambosos. There it is again in the gut.
And the fact that Kambosos can jab in the body, it's
not only that, but landing that right hook to the side of the belly.
Jab of Hitchins that is available for him at any time. Those are the hazards, that sweeping left hook and that piston.
One thing Hitchins been focusing on during this camp has been the Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko just went hard to the body work. They watched that fight between Kambosos and Kambosos got the stoppage with body shots. That's something.
These are sharp right now with that right hand. Barely making.
They think it's going to work really well for them in this fight.
And Hitchins is making Kambosos miss and making him pay. It's a beautiful, laser sharp, laser vision, man. Look at the fighter, man. Honestly, the Hitchins is a nice fighter. That jab.
It's a jab that could do damn range. There's a nice jab from Kambosos.
And we've been likening this experience all on its own, in addition to just controlling it to what Kambosos had with Teofimo. So far, Hitchins behind that jab, used the right hand, fighting very disciplined. Hitchins has not been getting out of his comfort zone and staying this way.
That's what Kambosos is going to have.
There we go.
With both hands to the body.
Get it there.
Solid upstairs, so counter downstairs.
Kambosos is having thoughts about that. What we are seeing is shots over the top.
Yeah, at this range, it's going to be all Hitchins. He's taking advantage.
Hitchins is able to counter those body shots like that with chopping
to the height and reach. Kambosos is going to have to move off the body. Hitchins, touch anything. And just concentrate on the gut, on the body of Hitchins. Right there, he should be closing the distance. The body is what Kambosos needs to touch on. Double jabbing, and there's that right hook to the body. Both sides.
He's on the body already. A cut over.
There we go.
Yeah. 108 seconds here of round 2 as Kambosos continues to jab right eye.
That's what Kambosos needs to do, guys. Right there, that right hook to the body.
Kambosos, a bit of a mouse or cut starting to fall. Yeah, but to Corey, to your point there, under that right arm.
A little bit of both at this moment. Final 10 seconds. Not that far in the fight. Fast forward left here of round 10. Or excuse me, round 2. But there for Hitchins. And that'll do it for the round.
Listen, you shooting it, flick the jab, feint, flick, you jab every time with the same speed. You're trying to time every time you jab, level change, feint. You gotta have your head moving on both sides. You can't keep trying to go straight in. You gotta cut on lateral pressure, go to the body, walk. Stop standing right in front. Walk. You gotta leave. Stop leaving your feet closed. You gotta drive.
That jab.
Every time you jab, stab under. With a jab, you gotta jab.
You need to come under with a jab with a hand over the top of that jab. From the corner, counter to the body. They're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. Right hand. That chopping down right hand from the taller, longer fight. But look, that jab right there was a little bit. He was in range for that. You don't want to be in front of him too long like that.
So it's worth noting that trained George Kambosos this fight. They trained up in Canada. Anton Kadushin, longtime Russian coach for this fight. Anton Kadushin was not granted a visa of George Kambosos. His father, of course, is their visa to come to the United States. So he is not in the club with them his entire career. But the man that came up with the game, Kambosos still targeting the plan for this fight, will not be working it with Kambosos.
Body of Hitchins, that was the edict in the corner, to continue to big overhand right. And of course, we saw Kambosos drop TFT go downstairs. Perhaps that's in service. He's trying to set up that Lopez with a couple of years back.
Serge is going to start closing. If Hitchins keeps aiming that jab under that mouse under the eye of Kambosos' right eye, that's going to be a problem.
Just accurate, sharp. That he's comfortable just right now in the pocket. He's already comfortable in the range and the punching by Hitchins. You can see distance.
See the jab numbers in 2 rounds. See Kambosos, at least statistically, trying to jab with here. Hitchins outlanding Kambosos 26-9. Hitchins when he can, but the accuracy heft of those jabs of Kambosos already.
And Hitchins is one of the best of Hitchins. Very apparent. You can see it on the face. Jabbers in any weight class. Long, accurate is not going to work because stuff like this is going to happen. Sharp trying to win a jab fight with Hitchins. Sharp right hand. Hitchins on his way in.
You see Kambosos already getting frustrated.
Kambosos tries to leap in with the left hook. That caught the shoulder.
With those sharp, accurate punches of Hitchins. And it too, you know, he's not throwing combinations. He's just controlling them with that range. It's nothing out of the ordinary by Hitchins. It's a one and that height, that reach, and popping it with that jab, stopping him with it nice and simple. Twos and twos from Richardson Hitchins. That right hand. There you go.
The problems with the jabs are not new for George Kambosos. The work of that jab, the straight right hand. They're different fighters, but Haney took 2 wins off of Kambosos, largely behind the Haney and Hitchins do fight a similar style.
That's Kambosos. That's what he needs to do.
He's looking like Mayweather Jr.
And that's the counter to the body that I was talking about earlier, guys. But any time that Hitchins sets him rage, just
back comes Hitchins with 3 straight jabs. He can't
with both hands catch him downstairs.
Kambosos trying to get to his body once again. About 20 seconds here, round 3. Hitchins just with that force field of straight shot back the face of George Kambosos. Continuing to aim. That'll do it for round 3.
It's easy enough.
63 matches of the competition are live here on DAZN. Well, the FIFA Club World Cup is underway. Also tomorrow, Bayern Munich take their bow against PSG, face Atletico Madrid. It's Auckland City, while newly crowned European champions.
Make sure he establishes up top.
Time to blaze his ass. That's it. Because when you start getting the back up, start going to his body, you don't want to answer it. So touch him with that back. Yeah, guys, look at beautiful 1-2, and this is as sharp as what he's been doing. He's just surgical with that jab. That range is there, pouncing of Kambosos. That's what Kambosos likes to do. Get opponent there, and then he bounces back, stays out of the distance of the off guard and pounce on them. Hitchins is not giving them that.
We got
as surgical as Richard. Round 4 now underway. So Hitchins can be. What he can't remove is the resolve in front of Hitchins and giving him that target
Surgical
of George Kambosos, but that's also what's keeping him right.
And then that big right hand, man. I mean, it's
walking into the arena, Sergio. You liken Hitchins.
It's beautiful to watch, man. Up close.
You know, we're in a certain sense of Burning Forest.
Yeah, because that long jab, they're tall, wide shoulders, everything's up width of his legs and thighs, and then that wide steady right hand, just beautiful, beautiful viper-like. That's of Hitchins.
Has to find a way to get on that front foot and put. Kambosos has Hitchins back. He's at this type of range. He's just going to be
Right hand there from Hitchins.
Can't be easy money for Richardson Hitchins.
Oh, Kambosos trying to come back with that up jab and a right hand to the body. Could have been on the elbow and back with a right hand.
No, Hitchins has no.
Hitchins rolling with that shot to the body, catching a bit.
Respect for Kambosos now he's not even jumping back or trying to counter. He's hitting accurately with that right hand.
We talked about the offense of Hitchins.
He's barely making a miss with that shoulder roll, coming back with that right hand.
Landings, but the defense is really sharp as well. One of Kambosos' best shots, kept that right hand up the entire time, taking that weapon away from Kambosos. Is kind of that jab that turns into a left hook. Hitchins is.
See, there's a counter to the body.
There from,
upper body movement and counter with both hands. That's the only thing that's going to...
Good shot there from Kambosos.
But he's going to have to do it with both hands to keep the long arms of Hitchins at bay. And that will set up shots like that.
Hitchins just missing with that right hand, as does Kambosos. Didn't miss with that right hand. And he rarely misses with the sweeping left hook. And Hitchins, Sergio, with that jab. There are very few throwaway jabs.
Everything off that jab. I mean, this is
From Hitchins.
a beautiful shot. It's just what this is a sweet science right here. Everything off that jab.
Wow. Inside the final 15 seconds of round.
Right hand.
Double right hand there from Hitchins. Round 4. A brilliant performance.
If I got that, man, what this is an artist at work.
Far from Hitchins.
Good body shot from Hitchins right there in the exchange.
Yep. Man, I love watching Richardson Hitchins when he's this sharp, this confident, this strong.
And moving your head. You sitting right in front. You sitting there, boom, going one and done. You got a feint jab, come off with something. You got to put combinations together and work off the jab. Work off to the side, touch, listen. Don't time them. Set, go. Touch, go.
When you're going to the body, you're pulling it. When you pull out,
Listen to me. You get
out, you gotta stay in there. Okay. He's countering you.
sit and counter.
They're giving the right instructions to killing them. And you cannot be throwing shots like Kambosos, but it's the upper body movement that's fit. That left hook like that, a beautiful body shot by Hitchins. You
Back to action here, and you heard the
just got to focus on the body and upper body movement like they told them in the corner.
instructions in the corner of Kambosos. They want him to really more peril, but to his corner's point, what he was doing before become the aggressor here. Of course, that may put him in even as a recipe for disaster.
Well, it is, but Kambosos does a good. If he can double and triple his jab of keeping his chin down. He knows how to hide behind his shoulder, go in, and then land the body shot. If you can back up Hitchins to the see right there, that's what Kambosos ropes, and maybe you can have some success. You can start throwing the shots downstairs.
Beautiful counter right hand there from Hitchins.
Dipping his head to his left as well.
Yeah, Hitchins got time that Kambosos dips down to throw that jab to the line on that dip right. He's anticipating it every time.
And that's for the upper body movement that they're telling him that he needs. The longer this fight goes, if he's going to keep his head in the same line of fire, he's going to keep getting pumped.
Short right hand on the inside again there from Hitchins. And that, Sergio, the one thing that is working for Kambosos is really illustrates the problem here for Kambosos countering to the body, or at least getting to the body of Hitchins. But if we're talking about winning, at this rate, Kambosos has to hurt Hitchins to the body. Ratios and the price that you pay to land to what you're landing, because when he goes down there, he's getting counters.
Yeah, and that shot to the body and came back with a left hook. That's very difficult. And look, right there is a perfect example. Hitchins caught that to do, but when you're as sharp and as quick as Hitchins, you get away with it.
90-29. The numbers for Rich. The copy box punch dash through 4 rounds. Richardson Hitchins has a glimpse with that right hand. As Kambosos tries to get back on his jab. Layering scoreboard for Hitchins right now. Just
with body shot by Hitchins in the inside. Kambosos hurt to the body.
Richardson Hitchins is tasting blood. Kambosos felt that one. He is hunched over. And
Lomachenko softened him up to the
Hitchins' corner told him you would hurt him to the body.
Kambosos doesn't like it downstairs.
The hit, how prophetic, with 40 seconds remaining in round.
Kambosos is brave, but that body is unforgiving.
5. Kambosos says, come on.
You just don't recover.
Seconds of round 5.
And the guts on Kambosos still
Final 30 seconds.
swinging away. But Hitchins really calm. He wants to get it to go down again.
Kambosos trying to
Another good shot. It's only going to take another body shot for Kambosos.
breathe through the pain of that body shot.
Lingering pain. Not going to take much for him to go down again. Those body shots.
All right, let's. I'm here with Tampi Malopez. Send it over to Chris Mannix with a special guest.
Teofimo, I know it wasn't your favorite experience against Richardson Hitchins. What do you think of what you've seen so far? It's going up against George a few years ago, but he's back here now again.
What a phenomenal performance by Richardson Hitchins. Kambosos got to pick it up, or this fight could be outboxing him, out-jabbing him, outclassing him. He's over very soon.
What would your advice be to Kambosos against
Move your fucking head.
an opponent like Hitchins?
That's it. Move your fucking head. Excuse my language. And you're welcome. Yeah, man. I'm happy, man. What a phenomenal fight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chris. Excellent analysis there from Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah. Charisma. He has charisma to
Coming for your job, Sergio.
Man, looking sharp too, man.
Round 6 underway. We'll see if Titanic struggle in the last minute 20 or so of Kambosos can recover from what was a tight round as he tries to go downstairs to the body and may still be from round 5. If Richardson Hitchins, it was Kambosos who was hurt badly.
He still is. You don't recover in 60 seconds from a body shot. A fighter much rather get hit with 3 or 4 shots upstairs. What that's only going to do is open up the headshots. That one good one to the liver, and right now you can see the Hitchins is to the body again.
Hitchins now just walking,
having a good time, patient, looking for the right shot.
Kambosos down. You see the high frame guard. He's not even Kambosos before he slipped. But it's Hitchins who's giving him, worrying about standing on the outside. That was a nice right hand from him. These opportunities right now because he thinks that a knockout.
No respect for Kambosos right now.
Could be just around the corner.
Hitchins is just so relaxed, and he has no. He predicted a stop. I could see a stoppage, especially if he keeps going downstairs. And you know, if he keeps on touching and peppering him.
Kambosos wins just off that jab to the body as well. As we take a look at Chris Mannix's scorecard. Another one from Hitchins. As we have an easy night of scoring for Chris Mannix. Kambosos up now.
Yeah, pretty easy fight to score. Is like
Hitchins still in full control here in round 6, just backing, get my mic back up and running. We're trying to dig deep here, probably knowing how far he's behind, but Hitchins operating behind the jab. Good round so far, I think, for George Kambosos. Starting so far, all Richardson Hitchins. A little bit of blood coming from the mouth of Hitchins now. Voluntarily, what a right hand immediately behind it.
Both fighters looking for
He made this a higher contact fight, looking for uppercuts like that.
Because right there, Kambosos is talking to Hitchins now, getting his not there anymore, so he's moving forward. Confidence back. You can see that the pain from the liver. Kambosos, man, what guts to spare.
The final 30 seconds here of round 6. Inside.
Kambosos just try to nuke that, getting a little bit overconfident, just walking that shot. There you go, over the top of the jab. Hitchins, Kambosos, no respect.
Maybe a mild confidence boost here for George Kambosos.
This is an opportunity for Kambosos to go over the top.
And that will do it for round 6.
Listen, he's not fighting good off a shot. If you're going to work angle, you got to work the hook and bring your other forward. But you still, if you're going to turn, you got to come right. You can't be happy throwing one punch. You got to go right. Get over the bucket.
Beautiful shot. There you go. Right on the breadbasket. You could open up that straight right hand, but it was that body shot that put him deep. Kambosos was hurting right there. Down. Just clean shots. And this is what I'm talking about upstairs. That one good one right in the solar plexus.
and imagine
A fighter much rather get hit with 3 or 4 shots up.
Sergio, when you see an opponent grimace like that, that's
a surgical beatdown by Rich.
blood in the water.
Oh, yeah. It's in Hitchins.
Round 7 in. At the end of round 5, graded on that begins. And considering the condition that Kambosos was in curve, that was a pretty good round for Kambosos in round 6.
I thought first in the last round, but it's been all domination by Hitchins with that jab. He had good flashes in the first round as well. He had flashes with that, just pot shotting, lining him up with that right hand, and of course those body shots.
Hitchins now back to long range.
Popping him with that stick, busting up that eye. And that's what Hitchins needs to do. Just go back to the stick, blooding up Kambosos.
Big right hand there from Hitchins. Tried to engage a little bit too much with Kambosos. Created those options. Thought Hitchins got away from that a little bit in the 6th round. Opportunities for Kambosos to have pockets of success when you're Hitchins unbeatable in this fight as you possibly can be.
I like that delayed
Like this, keeping it at the mid-range, operating off the jab. You are as close to
right hand by Hitchins. He pops that jab, and then tricky thing to time if you're Kambosos. If you're a fighter that kind of slows down with that right hand, it's really the end of that right hand when you change the volume, change the speed.
Hitchins back to that formula that he feels is unbeatable, unsolvable. Last couple of rounds has been pressing him to throw multiple punches. Don't just, Kambosos' corner, these last throw one jab and get out. Throw 2-3 punch combination.
Hit with that long jab.
It's a station. Mix it up a little bit more.
Very difficult to do when you get stabbing jab. You can see it. You can see that it's ready to close. That's the power of a jab in the face of Kambosos. The right eyes, the accuracy.
Version of Hitchins has made Kambosos, it seems, this long range, a little more tentative now here in round 7.
A lot more tentative. Hitchins starts stabbing him to the body, even with that jab. When that body shot does that, it takes the confidence out of you. I would love to see it remind the gut of that pain that he had earlier.
Nice left hook as well. Second one.
There you go. That's a nice body shot by him.
Gloves of Kambosos. Big right hand over the top.
No.
Kambosos looking for that
steam in the punches of Kambosos.
Entering Kambosos with the basics here tonight. What? Richardson, Hitchins just bat more right hand as we hear the bell. We head to Anaheim, California on June 28th as Jake, the problem child, faces the toughest test of his career. Paul takes the next step in his pro boxing adventure here in the shape of former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
That's what you do. You tell them. Keep punishing them. Yeah. They're going to end up. Keep punishing. You're doing great. You're slowing them up. They're going to end up stopping that shit. They're going to have all the other said. Yo, that's what they had. They're stopping that shit. Yo, Timmy.
And obviously he has a very good team behind him. But I tell you what, Richard Hitchins is a great fighter. We've been calling his fights for a few years. It is to go where one of his guys was on the phone with almost always chaos in that corner. I remember the fight, you fight Corey Stevenson.
Yeah, that's right.
Giving Hitchins instructions from the corner of Hitchins. Fortunately for him, whenever chaos is going to Corey Stevenson, there's always a lot of voices going back and forth. And on the corner, he is just as disciplined in the ring.
He had up and it landed flush.
And Hitchins smells blood, man. He's going
Huge left hook there from Hitchins, who just cranked them.
He's going for the knockout that he said he was going to get. He said he was going to.
He's one good body shot away from getting at least a knock.
Stop Kambosos. He's looking for it and he's chasing after it.
Yeah, I think knockdown.
Well, there were two different strategies to just keep doing what you're doing, and they might just stop this. To your point, Chris Mannix in the corner there. One saying if you just keep pecking away, the other saying you can just end this moment.
Yeah, I would advise him to listen to Lenny Wilson, his longtime trainer.
Right now, it seems like he's listening to the second voice, at least that
It's giving me advice. Keep punishing him is the right thing to do because just we get stoppages that way. Look at because he's throwing jabs and straight right hands. That doesn't mean he can't
Jabs through 7 rounds. 104 to body of Kambosos once again. 32 for Hitchins as he goes downstairs to the.
Just busting him up every time he throws that jab. He lands it. And right with that jab, he's looking like Corte right now, Richardson Hitchins, man. It's just setting up that right hand.
Hitchins just now
Long, strong, shotgun jab set.
pointed to the corner of Kambosos and yelled at
Asking Kambosos, do you want to keep doing this?
him to stop the fight.
Yeah, prior to that, he had his palms to the sky. Shot straight low there from Hitchins.
Vasily Lomachenko against Richard Comey a couple of years
As we're inside the final minute of round 8.
ago. Shades of to go right here in Madison Square Garden where Lomachenko was.
And that may be
The body shot.
body shot from Hitchins. A walk-off home run.
Fight's over.
That is it. Richardson hit
The pain from the body lingers. It's not going to go away. This
Hitchins, the pride of Brooklyn, shine
He wanted the knockout. He went for the knockout. He got the
at Madison Square Garden.
Brooklyn stand-up knockout.
Geo performances do not get much more dominant than Zernak.
A+ performance. He went for it. He smelled jab. The straight right hand. He went for the kill. Blood and those beat outs to the body.